Hello everyone, welcome back to the course Autodesk Fusion 360 for beginners. And in this lesson, we're going to design a bearing support. And to design it, we'll have to apply some new tools that we haven't used until now, which are rip and offset plane. So to start out, we just need to set the design that we want to use. In this case, we can opt for hybrid design and then create new. So to start up, we need to set the view that we want to place our design. In this case, this is the view which represents better our design. So we'll set the top view because this one represents better our design. And we'll go to the toolbar and we'll select create sketch. Now we just need to set that view. So to start that, we'll be using the cycle tool. So we can place it in the origin and set, for example, as 40 and then click OK. And again, we'll be using this tool again and we can set, for example, as 60 and then we can click OK. And again, we'll be using the cycle tool again and we can set it in any way, because after that we can sketch the dimension. So but it has to be in this line. In this case, make sure that it is in the same line as the origin. So we can set, for example, as 20 and then click OK. Now we'll go to a toolbar and we'll sketch dimension. So we can set it and then we need to set the dimension from here to the origin in this case. So we can click it and then we'll be able to set the dimension. So we can click in the right and then we can set, for example, as 75 and then click OK. Now you'll see that it moved. So we sketched the dimension in this case. So now we need to create a arc. So we'll go to the toolbar and we'll click on create and we'll scroll down until we find arc. So we'll be using the center point arc in this case. So we'll click it and then we'll go in the middle point and then we can set, for example, as 23. Okay, 23, and then we can click it once and we can drag our mouse and then we can find it's another point. You'll see that it will generate an arc. So that's our hand point in this case, and then we can click OK. Okay, now we can unite this arc with this cycle in this case. So we'll go to the toolbar and we'll click on line tool. So now we just need to unite these two. So we can unite them. And then you can tick it and you'll do the same in another border. You can set it and then you can click OK. Now it is done. So now we can finish a sketch. So now we want to extrude it. So we'll go to the toolbar and select extrude. And then we just need to select the face that we want to extrude. First, we'll select this one. In this case, the outer one, and then we can move it upwards and we can set, for example, as 60 and then we can click OK. Now you'll see that our sketch has vanished, so just need to expand it. So we'll go to our browser and we'll scroll down until we find sketches and then we just need to expand it, and there is our sketch. You can unhide it and then we'll go to the toolbar again and we'll set extrude. So now we just need to select the shape that we want to extrude. In this case is this one. So we can move it upwards as 15 and then we can click OK. Now we need to create an offset plane to continue with our drawing journey. So we'll go to the toolbar and we'll select construct in this case. And then you can click it, and then you'll click on offset plane in this case. You click it once, and then you'll see that the origin has appeared in this case. So that's the origin. These ones that are showing are actually the origin. So the one that we want in this case is this one. So we can click it once, and then we can move it to the left in this case as minus 50 or 75, and then we can click OK. So that's our offset plane in this case. So we want to create a sketch in this offset plane that we've created. So we'll go to the toolbar and we'll click on create a sketch. Now we just need to select that offset plane that we've created. So everything that we create in this case will be in that offset plane. So we can start drawing in this case. So to start up, we need to set a reference point first one. So we'll go and select line tool, and we'll go to our sketch palette, and we'll use construction line. So to start, we'll start in the origin, and we can set, for example, as 30, and then click OK. And now we need to go upwards in this case using this reference point. We can set, for example, as 15, and then click OK. So that's our reference point that we've created. So now we can deactivate it, and then we'll go again in the toolbar and select the rectangle feature. So we'll use that reference point, and then we'll start from there, and we'll go upwards, and we can set, for example, as 45 of height, and then we want to change and also set the width. So we'll go to our keyword and we'll set on tab. We'll click on tab, and then we'll be able to change it, as you see. So we can set as the same as 60, and then we can click OK. Now we can finish the sketch. So you'll see that that sketch was created in that offset plane. Now we can start extruding it in this case. So we can select it, and then we'll go to the toolbar and we will select extrude. We can set, for example, as 15, and then we can click OK. So that's it. And now we need to create another sketch in this shape in this case. So we'll select this shape and we'll select create a sketch. So we'll be using the rectangle feature, and we'll start in this point in this case. You can approach it if you want, or if you want to see it better, you can go to your browser and you'll go to bodies in this case, and you'll see that there are two bodies in this case, body 1 and body 2. So our body 1 is the first one that we started, so we can hide it, and then you'll see that it disappeared, but it didn't actually disappear. We just hide it to be able to design what we want in another body in this case. So we can set in the border, and we can go upwards as, for example, 15, and then we want to set the width, so we'll change by using tab, and we can set 60, and then we can click OK. Now we want to see body 1 again, so we can go again in our browser and we can unhide it again. So now we can finish a sketch. So we'll go to the toolbar and we'll set extrude. We just need to select that part which we want to extrude, which is this one that we've created now. So we'll select it, and then you can move it to the right. We can move it slightly to the right, and you'll see that it is cutting. So make sure that you go to the extrude palette, and then you change the operation to join. in this case. You'll see that it will join instead of cutting that. And then we can click OK. And also in the cycle, there is a shape that was generated, that because we chose to join. So you need to select that part and extrude to cut. So we'll go to the toolbar and select extrude. Now we just need to select that part, and then we can move it downwards to extrude it to cut in this case. And then you can click OK. So that's it. That's our first shape of our drawing. So now we want to create rib, and to start it we'll be using the offset plane again, and also the construction line after. So we'll go to the toolbar and we'll set construct, and we'll be using offset plane. So now we want to select this part to create an offset plane. So we'll select it, and then we can move it to the right, as for example -25, and then we can click OK. So now we want to create a sketch in this offset plane that we've created in this case. So we'll go to the toolbar and we'll select create a sketch. Now we just need to select that offset plane, and make sure that you select that offset plane in this case. So we'll select it, and then we'll go to the toolbar and we'll select line tool, and then we just need to unite these 2 points in this case. So we'll start from here, and make sure that you start from here and zoom it if you have to, and then we'll select it, and then we'll go to the right and we can set as 30 millimeters, and then click OK. Now we can finish the sketch. So now we want to create a rib. So we'll go to the toolbar and we'll click on create, and we'll go until we find rib, and then we can click rib, and we can click that part which we want to create rib, as you see, as we selected, and then we go to the rib information, and you make sure that the thickness direction is to one side, and also the extent type is to distance, not to next, but for distance in this case. So now we can start creating the rib in this case. So, and you'll see that we've got 2 arrows in this case. This one is for the depth in this case. So we can set it, for example, as 30 depth in this case, and the another one is for thickness, and you'll see here that in our information the depth is already set for 30. That's because we move it downwards. And the another one we can set, for example, the thickness as 10 in this case. You'll see that this part appeared, so that's our thickness, as you see, that's 10, and then we can click OK. So that's it. So that part is already done. Now you just need to do almost the same in this part as well. So we'll go to the toolbar and we'll set construct, and then we just need to select offset plane in this case. So we'll select the part which we want to create offset plane, which is this part in this case. So we'll select it, and then we can go to the right, in this case as -18, and then we can click OK. Now we want to create another sketch, but now in this offset plane that we've created now. So we'll go to the toolbar and we'll select create a sketch, and we just need to select that offset plane that we've created in this case. So we'll select it, and then we'll create a sketch here. So first, to help us out in this case, we'll be using slice tool in this case. So you'll click it once and you'll see that it seems like your drawing has been cut, but that's just to help us in this case, in this step in this case. So now we'll go to the toolbar and we'll select line 2. So now first we want to create a reference line. So we'll go to our sketch palette and we'll change the operation to construction line in this case. So we'll start by this point in this case, just to set our reference line, and you can zoom it as much as you can until you find your reference point in this case, so that you can put it accurately. You can set, for example, as 25 as our reference point, and then we can click OK. That's our reference point out here. So we can change again the operation to normal lines, and then we'll go to the toolbar again and we'll select the line tool. Now just want to create a line which will help us doing the rib later. So you can start from this point in this case and we'll go upwards, and make sure that you don't pass over it, just pass through it in this case, because that's what will help us later doing the rib in this case. So make sure that it passes through it, not in another shape. It has to be in between in this case, just for this kind of cases in this case. And then you can set it and we can tick it, and then we can unhide our slice to see our shape again, and then we can finish the sketch. So now we can create the rib in this case. So we'll go to the toolbar again and select create, and we'll go until we find rib, and we'll select rib, and now we just want to set this point. So we'll set this line, and then again make sure that the thickness direction is to one side and the extent type is to distance in this case. So now first we'll be using the depth in this case. That's our depth in this case. We can set, for example, as -30. As you see here, it's -30. And then the thickness we can set for 10 in this case, 10. And then we can click OK. That's it. Now to finish up, we just need to create another sketch in this shape. So we'll select it and then we'll select create a sketch. Now to start, we'll go to the toolbar and we'll set the cycle, and we can draw it randomly. For example, we can start from here and set, for example, 16, and then click OK, and again do the same in this part. Set, for example, 16, and then click OK. Now we just need to sketch the dimension. So we'll go to the toolbar and select sketch dimension, and now we just need to define the distance from here to here in this case. That's how you do it in this case. And we can set, for example, as 12, and then click OK, and we'll do the same in this part. So you just need to click at one part and also in another part to sketch the distance between these 2 points in this case, and we can set the same as 12 and then click OK. Now we need to set the distance from here, so we'll click it here and also in that cycle, because we want to know what's the distance between these 2 points. And we can set, for example, as 15 and then click OK, and we'll do the same to this one as well. So we'll start in the end point and in the cycle we'll click it, and then we'll drag it, and then we'll click in the right, and then we'll be able to set or sketch the dimension, and then click OK. Now we can finish a sketch. So now we just need to extrude it to cut. So go to the toolbar and select Extrude. You just need to select those two parts in this case, and then you can move it to the right, and you'll see that that part is cut. And then we can click OK. And then we can close our sketches so that we can see our drawing accurately. So that's the final product in this case. So thank you all for being here until now, and I hope to see you all in the next lesson. And please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any upcoming class. Thank you all, and peace.